What is up, guys, and welcome to another episode of my HLTV Fantasy. Today we are looking at PGL Major Antwerp 2022 Champions Stage. So, the last stage of the Major, the Champion Stage or the playoffs, I already made my pick'ems video where I kind of went through who I think is gonna win. But as I said there as well, I think there's a lot of close matchups, a lot of potential upsets. And due to that, both my Ego fantasy lineup and this HLTV fantasy lineup might be quite different from the pick'ems I actually made. But first, I guess I could go over how my last stages went. I don't know if I showed the Challenger stage. Went pretty well. Only Far League was bad. I think I actually showed this. Went pretty okay. Unfortunately, though, the Legend stage quite a travesty. Very bad result in the end because mostly of Cloud9 doing quite poorly. G2 also wasn't like the best pick. Like when Perfecto is your best player, it's a pretty bad situation. I tried to kind of gamble on G2. I tried to show some faith in Cloud9. I actually felt like they'd go maybe 3-0. And they went 3. Wait, 1 and 3 actually. Imperial. So I definitely drew the short end of the stick here. But that's gonna happen every now and then. About that. Here's this. Here's the most picked players. It and Perfecto high up here. A lot of face players. Spinks also from Ends. As he's 217 now. Not 215 like he's been for a while. Image to round it out. A lot of faith in Navi and FaZe, kind of like I showed in my pick'ems. No real question. And Spinks makes his way here as well, which I am pretty happy to see. However, of course, with HLTV Fantasy, one player or two players from at least two players from each bracket. One being Nipface Spirit Furia and another being NCPH Navi Heroic. Let's go over some of the players and look at their prices. Very expected for FaZe. Electronic at 207 grand could be a steal, as well as Perfecto at a really good stage. Bit at 215 is also bad. If you expect Ends to do well, I think Spinks is the way to go. I wouldn't put my faith in Hades personally. Maiden and Snappy are good. Diha could be a good gamble as well. Slight gamble, I would say, on him. Refresh is now just a bronze player, actually, with under 1 point of rating. Darwin was really good again. Tessus was showing some good form. If you have faith in Heroic, which I don't because they play Navi first round, you could go pretty much anyone out of the Heroic players. Maybe Darwin can be tough to fit into your lineup. In terms of Furia, I think there's some fair arguments to be made for any of the Furia guys as well. Who was really good last? Art has been kind of struggling. I wouldn't probably go Art or like stats wise, they just haven't been that great. But of course, that shows in their price as well. Maybe drop for that price could be better than any of the big three Fury players. Probably I'd lean towards Kaiserat safe, but if you need an AWPer, maybe. NIP again, like they play FaZe for round 1. I don't have the highest expectations, but that kind of shows in their price as well. Like Proland for 201 grand, Rest for 204. Makes them a bit more of an option, because if they end up beating FaZe, they actually pull off the upset against FaZe. Then they become a real threat in the entire event, and then for those prices, you have to be kind of looking potentially them being like must-haves. Spirit, tough to say about Spirit, isn't it? yeah, Patsy, for example, had a real good event so far. Dexter's been one of the highest rated players. Then, like, again, they're playing Furia. I don't expect. Yeah, I'm honest. Like, I don't want to completely shut that possibility out because, I mean, they showed the last stage. Completely possible that against Furia as well. And then CPH. Playing ends is tough. Unfavored match. Again, there's some players who you could toss 102 Chubby for 95. Like, these prices are do go down quite heftily. Stage at least. I think I want to go for end. Navi players, they're not that expensive about it. You could go Navi, like, you could go even like electronic bit. Completely reason. Go face, then you probably have to go again. Someone else. Like the best cheap player, probably Reef. Just that Heroic is playing Navi again. Actually, Drop could be a decent cheap player. Because they actually have a decent beating spirit. Like if you go one off guy, maybe that's the one you go for. Ecto bit instead, and then options. This, for example, looks pretty damn good. If you if you expect FaZe and Navi to go through, I think line up. Tough to say who you should. Maybe it's actually Boomage who you go for as guy, or maybe it's Carrigan. I probably wouldn't. I'd rather go first team. I don't think like Esetag could make sense. For example, 174 grand for all, but then again it comes down to this problem of them playing like now. Probably be. No, I mean like they play. Yeah, and like I'd definitely go for refresh or Esetag. I feel or refresh Esetag or Plopsky. If it was as easy as like like an easier opponent. I want to go. I don't know why. Then I wouldn't go Navi, or I could go maybe Boom. Maybe I just option. Boomage really. I mean, he probably is. Go Perfecto. Go Perfecto, Spinks, Copy. Fist you can go. You don't have an though. Like Perfecto a lot more than I feel. Over there's. No, it's not there. I'll say something at least. I think Perfecto makes more sense than Mitch personally. Of course, these are like the most players to some extent. I think going for Ends players. Could go Spinks less. And players from Spinks. Oh, I mean, lately he's been just so insane. Makes just sense to go Spinks. Like Snappy as well. You don't go like good. Problem is I don't want to go for not phase up here. I can see myself going Ends here. I think it has to be phase for as like the main pick. HLTV. Who are the players who I like? Really like Perfecto as an idea. But if I go Perfecto, Link, Snappy, I kind of have to go for like. Could go Carrigan. Then we have. How good was Hades in the last stage? 1.0 rating, like just Hades just doesn't for me well enough general stats wise for me to pick him. Game, but it's just true. If you go Spinks, you have to go double Ends. I wouldn't use 217 grand on a player who I don't have out of a team who I have 2 players out of. Just very awkward. Rather go than D. Carrigan. 5 grand left. Power their stuff. Spirit upset against Fear. Possible at least. Like Siren had a good. He has pretty decent ball. This is almost an option. I don't know. I probably wouldn't go for that. But, go with this. Not what I would go for though. Maybe Brokey's not the pick here. But then we like the problem is I don't want to go Hades. Then who do I have as an AWP? Do I have to go AWP less? Is the question then. In this without. Wait. Yeah. No, this isn't funny very. Tough one, really. An 80. Could go boom. Could also go modern. Quite enough. I think Rain makes some sense. Like a good amount of. Rain have a pretty good event. Up no. Harrigan actually had a really good event as well. You'd go Rain Carrigan. You really could. You'd have to go then. 104 grand still. Just a shame that I can't get. I could get Perfecto in this. Like a bit easier. I can get Twists. Twists and didn't have the great the greatest. No. Still has, of course, like great potential. Props didn't have the greatest either. Either it broke. They had a pretty, like, way more even of a distribution. Of course, 6 maps, and in the previous stage, not the playoffs, but pretty insane. The kind of that's this is so difficult. Can't go rest because we could go. Can't get electronic. It's 1 grand off. Damn it! It would be so good. Electronic here. Then it would be just a base team. How about simple team? Do you have simple teams? Team like a kind of is. Kind of a possibility to go simple. I don't think it's good, mind you, but it's a possibility. This is so hard. Sorry that this video is kind of turning out to be quite long, but so hard. I really want to have Spinks. I really want to have Rain. Go like this. Who do I really want to have? Then I want to really have 1 more player out of FaZe, 1 more player out of Ends, probably 1 player out of Navi. I think it's Perfecto who I want out of Navi. Like, after that, it's like I can't go Rops or Brokey. Real issue then. I have to go Twists. And then Nappy. Not like the greatest use of my money. Don't have an AWPer. There's a fair amount of problems with this. I mean, we have super good like support. We have entry, Fragger, Rain. Like multi-kill or CT rating here. Probably multi-kill. Headshots on Twists. PGL Snappy. Actually, it works out pretty well in terms of roles. It's just that we don't use our money very, like, 100%. Pretty, I always think like 3 or 1 grand is pretty good. 4 is really on the edge. What I think is acceptable. I think I'm just gonna go with this though. I could have Modern here or I guess like Brokey or Rops here. Make this quite insane. We could go Boomage. So much worse than Perfecto last stage. Could go Carrigan here, but then there's no like second carry on Ends. There's not even anyone for the around 200 grand. There's Hades, but then Hades in just not good enough. Should I still gamble on him? Like, there are low sample sizes, but still. I mean, this uses my money better. I get Rops. And I have Carrigan instead of. I'm gonna go with my gut and which tells me to go for instead, even though it leaves grand in the bank. I think this is just better. Yep, we're going with this. I like this one. I like this one quite a lot. Role-wise, it just works very well as well. check. There's nothing better. Like CT is better. Maybe go CT rating. Lux 82. I think entry is still better. So like probably actually better. Dragger. PGL makes. This is just a question. This is like 97% of the time this occurs. I sometimes calculated in one event. I calculated like what based on the higher percentages, like which is the highest expected points for the role. I think there's a lot of variables that I don't think it. I think this is riskier, but I'll go with. I'll go with the higher risk for this. Then boosters. KST booster probably here. Oh, Perfecto's actually a KST. Better to use it early. Same with this. What else is good? Like pistol run. Actually, this being like best of threes all the way. There's like good. Like you can use a lot of these early. Lists with Avenger. Maybe actually Avenger makes sense against NIP. Like NIP is a pretty strong opponent. Headshots on. Actually, headshots is better because I think NIP have anyone with really good aim, like headshots type of aim. It's gonna be Rain for sure, but not yet. Grenade is probably the one to go for. We don't get to use them all, by the way. Like, wait, how many do we get? 5, 2, 4, 6, 12, 14, 15 at max. Yeah, I should remember that for like top 8. 15 is max. I think we leave Rambo out and we leave someone else out. Actually, ace percentage for Sphinx is high enough that it's probably better, yeah, than nade kills. Yeah, so we just don't do 8 kills on Snappy. What else is good? Yeah. Probably not too many things. Choke eventually. Do this for now, but choke for later. This is good on Rain. Rain with both assist and bait. And something else in the last round. Or one of the. I guess flash assists. So do we use flash now? No wait, flash is actually worse than. We don't use flash and Rambo, so we do use nade. We can use nade here. Rain, go assist. Probably go assist here. Okay. I'm actually thinking with assist, for example. Both NIP and FaZe Clan are pretty good at Ancient. And what Rain does on Ancient CT side is like a lot of wall banging and trying to get some damage through the walls or from a cave. And basically due to that, he might be able to get a couple more assists. So if they end up on Ancient, and Rain gets to play a lot around CT with rifles and go for those wall bangs and get some damage in, get a lot of assists from that. So that's kind of my thinking with that. Headshots, and IP don't have great headshot percentage players. Highest KST player against probably their weakest team that they're going to play against this event. Couple of scorecards being monster, and then nade was one of the ones where Snappy actually does something. Oh, it's a pretty long episode. Sorry for that. Either way, I just had a lot of thoughts about this one. Like there was a lot of options. I couldn't really make my mind up, but I'll go with this lineup. Either way, if you enjoy this kind of content, remember to like and subscribe. If this is like first videos of mine you watch for HLTV Fantasy, I make a video on every single HLTV Fantasy, unless something weird happens where I make a lineup or video. Generally speaking, there's always going to be a video for me event. But yeah, leave a like, subscribe, and I will see you next one. Goodbye.